everybody doing? Ooh, Faith has got the #1 spot. Might be because of the new picture, but she's got the #1 spot on the thing. Berticus hers is looking good. Nicole's is looking really good. I don't know if it's a current or a old picture, but Nicole's looking really good. Oh, there's a new one. Unique Astro, Chicken Wing Candy, and Mira. The streamers that I think I follow, Botez Live again, trying to bring chess back to the forefront. I think that's ooh. Faith is on the top. She's actually streaming. Oof. And Pearlescent Moon. She is one of the other really good hermit crafters. She's got a stream now. Let's go see if my mic's working. Hey, mic check, mic check, mic check. Okay, we're working. This is gonna be a really short stream. I'm feeling better, but I haven't felt good at all this week. I'm doing laundry though. I'm gonna do a little bit of research, as much as I can, being homebound, but and it might not be much, but I am gonna try and research it a little bit. But I just watched something on the Octopus murders, and that's the next thing I intend to do. And it's like three or four parts. I'm gonna want to watch them again so I can take notes off them. I might fail on it because normally, and I'm not criticizing anybody, but normally when I watch these, this is a lot like one of Corbell's UFO videos. There's just too much in here. Usually when I watch like a lot of the stuff, and there's a lot of filler, so I can narrow it down, find the stuff that's cool to talk about. I can add and interject my own. But like this one here almost feels like I'll do my best. I think it's important, but oh my God. To give you an overview of it, it is a group of guys that's allegedly met back in the 50s, and they came into power around the 70s. And like one of the guys was supposedly the architect of the Laos bombing campaign in during Vietnam War. George H.W. Bush is there. Papa Bush, Reagan's former CIA director. A lot of them were former CIA director. One of the guys had connections to the mob, and it's like this nebulous thing, and they're called the Octopus murders. Well, at one point they were talking about some software. It was like the first computer software that oh God, I can't remember the name of it, but it's first software that was used by FBI agents, and it was very useful because like the one guy, he goes, well, when I came to the FBI, we didn't have computers. There's no computers on the agent's desk. Well, this was like some kind of software that allowed them to put case info in, and it was available with restrictions to other people. And then they talked about how they got it set up and running, and then they gave it to some computer nerd under the stipulation that they had to put he called it a trapdoor, but they had to put a back door in so they could sell it to other countries and use it to spy on. It's the same thing we did. I mean, I flat out fucking believe this, because we had a thing where we were selling hard drives It was a deal worked out with the hard drive manufacturers. I think it was hard drives. I don't think it was someone else. But it was the hard drives had software pre-installed on it, and it allowed the government to hack into these computers. And it's like, okay. And so they did it back then. And he said, yeah, he did it. And then they came back and they go, oh, we need it in France because we're going to sell it to Quebec, Canada. So it had to be in French. And I don't have a problem with this. First they were selling it to our enemies. And then they started selling it to our allies. Well, governments spy on each other. Yeah, maybe we shouldn't be doing it to our allies, but it's not like the shit that Bush was doing where he had the telecom company spying on us for the government. But so you could probably get some if you'd had the internet and you'd had a Snowden, you probably had some piece of shit that would have outed them. But as long as they're doing it to others outside of our country, I don't think it's maybe morally right. I think it might be burning, but it's not something that I think rises to the level of locking people up. And then he was talking about, I will do my best to get the names of these things, but there was another company. It involved Indian casino, and it's pretty big. And when they got to the third episode, there's something if anything, I'm gonna leave this to talk about. But there was something at the end. So if you do nothing else, you want to check out when I'm doing the third installment of it. You want to focus on that one because there was something that just blew me away. I don't easily get shocked, but last night when I was watching the third one, I just quit watching at that point because I needed time to. It was just fucking. Even if I was healthy, I think that would have fucking rattled me. And they talk about. They're talking to, I think, people for the federal government that investigate. They were given it as a cold case. They said after 9 months, they did it. 9 months, let's arrest the guy. Let's put him in jail. Let's try and put him in jail. Let's prosecute him. And then someone higher up said, oh, we're not doing that. Let him go. And so it was, and again, this sounds like Epstein. They sound, when you get into the bulk of it, it sounds like they had Epstein dead to rights several times. And finally, the one time they had a local prosecutor involved and ready to go, well, the feds took over. And they made some sweetheart, no jail deal, and then he was back in business the next day. They sealed the records of all the evidence that would incriminate him. And it just sounds, it doesn't sound exactly, I think it's, Mark Twain said history don't repeat itself, but it does rhyme. But it sounds exactly like what Epstein was doing, where he got away with it, where the government just turned a blind eye. Like the same thing they're doing with January 6th with the Republicans in Congress. They're just turning a blind eye. They might be prosecuting at the state level now. They might, because after all this time, and this is my fucking state, and shame on them. If it took them this long to figure this out, then they're fucking incompetent. But it looks like they're making a deal with Chesbrough. This guy, how can you make a deal with a guy that's lied every time he's given off evidence and taken a plea deal? But they're doing it. They're just letting him go, and. But when they talked about these 7, 8, because he was doing it. It's like they gave revisions in the dead guy's story, where it started out, well, there's 12 guys, and then they corrected it, and there was a typewriter going, oh, there's 7 guys, oh, there's 8 guys. Well, it sounds to me like Majestic 12. Maybe, after, if they're even true, but it sounds exactly like, again, it doesn't repeat, but it does rhyme. It seems like it rhymes with Majestic 12 that was back in the 50s. Well, these guys look like the ones that took over in the 70s, and they're tied up with the military-industrial complex, which a former president, Eisenhower, warned us about. So, you know, the one call to action, please write your people in office, have them make assisted suicide legal. I got some very practical reasons why I need that legalized. But you know, I didn't have too many good days this week so far. Maybe once I can get back outside, it'll get better. I don't know. But if you could, just please do that. But the other call to action, on my Threads account, I asked, you know, the president and Congress, the Democratic members of Congress, I asked them to look into writing a law or an executive order. You know, I said, you know, redo the independent counsel law, make it, you know, really curtail it. But every year at the FBI Academy, have the FBI agents look at a cold case. Just look at one case, because they do stuff like this. Have them reinvestigate it. The only thing is they've got to have access to everything. There can't be some shitbag hiding information, destroying information. But have the FBI or some other group investigate like one cold case a year. Have them governed by this independent counsel, somebody that can basically bring charges if they're obstructed. You know, give it the full weight of law. And then when they get done investigating it, the report issued will be made public. Anything that's classified, they can redact, but they have to include it. Show the people how much is fucking redacted, and then it can all be subject to FOIA requests with the courts. The court can do what they did with the Mueller report. They can go, well, I got to see everything. Well, you can't see everything. Well, I'm going to put a subpoena on your desk. Let's see what the fuck happens. You know, let's see if you comply with my subpoena, or let's see if you like spending time in jail. And then the courts can decide whether it needs to be released. And because I told them, I go, this looks sketchy as shit. And now it's largely forgotten. I never heard about it, but when apparently the guy got killed near the end of the Bush administration, and I gotta say, it looks like it was tied up in Iran-Contra. And this much I know is true. I was watching something years ago on PBS. They took these hostages in Iran, and Carter was doing everything he could to get them back. And now I'm not going to say there's enough proof to be a slam dunk. I do think there is enough proof that you could maybe bring charges, could have brought charges. That the Reagan, it might be that the Reagan administration campaign arranged for them to be kidnapped. If they didn't do that, they at least arranged, it looks like they made deals with Iran to hold them until after Reagan won the election. Because it was like hours after Reagan was sworn in, they released the hostages. There was no negotiating. There had to be some kind of a back channel, or it's like now Iran wanted Reagan in there. You know, it's kind of like with Russia and others that are, you know, infecting the 2016 virus or election, infecting the 2020 or trying to, and now in 2024. It really looks like that's what happened. But again, I don't know that there was enough to convict. I don't know if it was enough to be a slam dunk. But there was enough to maybe bring charges. But again, like we saw with Trump, if the president does something wrong, good luck getting anything brought against him while he's in office. And they showed a clip of him talking where they asked him, he goes, "Oh, I didn't. You know, he could have just, you know, like, I don't know. He didn't say, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, well, I didn't talk to Iran. Well, maybe someone from your campaign. It was a reporter asking us, maybe someone from your campaign. And Reagan smiled and he goes, oh, I can't talk about that. I think a lot of that's still classified. Well, if a crime is classified, that should be a crime too. But it, and I this is me. This isn't from the documentary, but I think that was a quid pro quo deal. You had the Iran-Contra affair had to be covered up. Bill Barr, the current guy, he helped President Bush, H.W. Bush. He helped him pardon everybody in Iran-Contra because they did get some people convicted. Then since they didn't know that since they didn't know they had a Fifth Amendment right, they got, you know, since they didn't know they had a Fifth Amendment right to not tell crime to Congress, that was a technicality they got away from. It all got overturned. That sounds like bullshit. But I don't think that was a 9-0 decision like this recent fuck up where they fucking let Trump off the hook. Oh yeah, don't mind that insurrection. You can run for you, and all the other insurrectionists can run. Wait till the mic gets turned back on. Mic check, mic check, mic check. Okay. But I just, have these people look at it. It'll all be made public. I go, you can cover, but I go, get that done. You just look at it. I go, start with JFK. If you're not going to release all the files, at least get somebody like maybe an honest look. And don't be looking to prosecute. These people should just file the report. They should follow the evidence where it lies, and then they can. This independent counsel can pass it on. All he does is write a report, make it public, and pass it on to justice. Pass it on to Congress. They'll have access. We'll all have access to it. And if the Justice Department wants to follow up on it, kind of like they did with the January 6th, when the Congress embarrassed them, and Garland found out he couldn't just wash this away and cover it up, he finally had to start going after. He had to put a special prosecutor on. Do the same thing. Maybe he'll do it. Maybe the sitting U.S. attorney will do it. And I go, or Congress can refer for criminal prosecution. They can refer criminal charges. And I go, those by law, as I understand it, and I don't know this, but they have pundits on TV who are former prosecutors. They're like, well, the law states that when they do a criminal referral, it shall or it must be placed with the U.S. attorney. That looks like they don't have any discretion. If Congress tells them it's criminal, if it's like the Republicans, if they do criminal charges, well, maybe you put it in, maybe the grand jury doesn't indict, maybe it's a whole big embarrassment, fair enough. But you shouldn't be able to sweep stuff under the rug like Barr did, because they sent him criminal referrals. And he didn't turn one of them over. But I am just blown away. And again, it's just a documentary. I don't know. If they're lying to me, I'm lying to you. But I'm not aware of it. But they had interviews. Like they had a prosecutor or someone from the sheriff's department or something. They had one of these guys. I'll go into more detail when I get to that episode. But they had a guy who, I think it's the same guy. He said that somebody, after the fact, said he killed the guy. he had, you know, he was responsible for getting that guy killed, and then they found he lied. As soon as he got out, he fled to like Honduras or something. Well, they investigated, they made the case, they were able to retract him, extradite him from Honduras or somewhere else down there, and they came back, and as soon as he got before the judge said, well, some new evidence has come into light, and I'm dropping the case. And it was probably the Epstein thing, you know. Somebody in the offices where they were investigating him, he said, well, my understanding is Epstein was connected to intelligence. And so it was probably something like that, where, you know, when he finally got in front of a judge, then they just come drop the national security fucking shit on him, and the judge doesn't know what to do. So I don't think we can get this done at the state level, or it'll be another Garrison. That is the only guy who ever brought charges against JFK. You know, they'll fucking smear him. They'll hide evidence. They'll destroy evidence. They'll alter evidence. And I'm just saying that's I'm gonna do that until I get done with that, covering that documentary, that story. That's going to be my new call to action, to get that done. I'm, you know, it gives me something to do. But that right there looks like a fucking huge thing. And they showed it, Janet Reno's, again, I don't remember this. I didn't become political until I saw how much money they wasted on Bill Clinton's dick. That's when I started caring about politics, because I'm like, my God, we got this much money. It was like, you know, the hostage deal with Carter. They do all this shit. They waste all this government money just so they can steal an election. They did it with the Benghazi hearing. All this money wasted, millions of dollars wasted just so you can steal an election because your policies are shit. You know, you're incompetent. You can't run a government, and so you gotta do this shit. And I don't know. But they said at Janet Reno's confirmation hearings, she was asked, they showed the clip. She was asked, well, do you know anything about this case? And she's like, well, no. And then they told her, well, we want you to look. Well, after they looked at it for so long, they determined that there was nothing there to investigate. I don't know. They might have done I honestly think this. They might have done a cursory examination, and some of this stuff just sounds crazy. They had journalists, family members, friends. They said a lot of what he told them sounded crazy. And then this one other guy that was a witness or involved in it, they said a lot of the stuff he told us was crazy. And then as we investigated it and found the evidence, we're like, holy shit, this is true. And so, and I think it's part of the deal. They hired these guys to work for them that sound crazy. It's like Bob Lazar. They hire these guys for this corrupt shit. I mean, and one of the guys in there, he was in Under Siege. I think he was like a technical advisor to how things work, and he had like a bit part in there. And they showed it several times where he was on the, you know, they showed still photos of him on the set of Under Siege. But they hire these guys, I think, that are fucking loose cannons, because they're probably the only ones that'll do the fucking corrupt shit they want. But they have the added bonus that if they go to trial, nobody's ever gonna fucking believe them. You know, that nobody's gonna believe, and that's probably where she fell into it. You know, or it's the same case. You know, it was real crimes about conservatives. So, the Justice Department can't do that, but we can look at. But she was no. I honestly think, honest opinion, that she took a cursory example. Their agents did what they're supposed to do. They segregated the shit that sounded crazy, that sounded too just crazy to fucking believe. And there just wasn't that much there. They never probably investigated the crazy sounding shit. But I got a feeling if they would have investigated, if they would have dug a little deeper, they probably would have found a lot of this crazy stuff was true, and then that would have probably opened up the whole apple cart. But just get going on. I don't know how long it's going to take me, but when I get those ready, I might do quick little videos like this to show you some of the stuff I've done, which will take a couple minutes. But that's the next one I'm going to be working on. But holy shit, is that just impressive. That, oh well, goodbye, peace out, and have a good day.